Narration, or the act of telling a story, is unique in every film. However, there are tools that filmmakers use to orchestrate their work into something emotional and entertaining. Directors Ray Tintori and Destin Cretton both utilize the tool of repetition to give their narrative a structure that is pleasing and helpful to the viewer. Though in watching these films, they may feel almost as if they are in direct opposition of each other, their narrative structure and toolkit are incredibly similar. Ray Tintori, the director of Death to the Tin Man, explained in an interview with Vice that it is important for filmmakers to recognize their own level of immaturity and try to make films that knowingly operate on that level. The emotions in Tin Man are essentially teenage emotions. The film is not only narrated via third-person voiceover, but there is also text and other narrative aspects that all work to tell the story. The harsh lighting throughout the film also gives way to the overall teenage emotions that the director channels into the form of controlled chaos. Tintori's use of repetition, however, adds a much-needed structure to the narrative. The repetition of the shot of the plane falling from the sky, the ministers praying for a sinner, or the repeated event of Bill losing a limb all help bring the abundance of information into focus for the viewer. This is also reflective of Tintori's work as a music video director. Just as a song would repeat the chorus as it's dispersed between verses, Death to the Tin Man follows a similar structure, with the repeated scenes and shots being dispersed throughout the film's quirky and almost bizarre moments, and the gradual emotional build of each set of repetition all help the different forms of narration come together. If Death to the Tin Man is a song, then Bartholomew's song is a metronome, keeping in time almost perfectly and then eventually getting off rhythm and causing a stir. The extremely repetitive shots and actions in the short film offer stability in Cretton's narrative just as repetition in Death to the Tin Man does for Tintori's. But in Bartholomew's song, the complete lack of dialogue forces the viewers to rely solely on what they see. The repetition used in the walking or working scenes offer the chance to explain the normal world, which according to the Looking at Movies textbook are rules of the universe. These carefully curated moments enable one to infer that the world is orderly and does not value unique things or people. The men walk in perfect sync from their jobs, where there is not a hair out of place, to the rooms where they sit in silence. Thus, as the film develops, viewers can watch the protagonist slowly fall out of the rhythm, solely through the visual imagery, except for the audio of the speakers. And this helps them understand the importance of that change in rhythm. Just as Film Lifestyle writes, writers use repetition to highlight an emotion, describe an object or event, or make an object look even more important than it was before. And in the end, this shapes the finality of the protagonist's actions to feel both revolutionary and also useless. They simply remove everything wrong with their perfect scene and go back to how it was before the murder of the guard. Until that is, the repetitive shot of the workers is broken as the second Barth falls ever so slightly out of line, thus ending the film with uncertainty, which can be considered the antithesis of repetition. The world is left changed at the ending of Bartholomew's song with just one person hearing the song and letting it settle. And the world in Death to the Tin Man is also completely altered, as the Tin Man and his love are left alone in the world after the rapture.